So that's wolf farming. Basically,
Yeah, they're all Australian.
all Australian footage. Yeah. Basically, this.
It's illegal, yeah, isn't it?
No, this is legal. This happens in. This happens at a lot of wolf farms. Most wolf
Animal
farms that they
cruelty
go
is
in.
illegal. At the very least.
I don't think so. It's not because it depends. How would you define animal cruelty?
Well, punching a sheep is pretty cool.
Yep, that's a straight one. That's pretty obvious. But what about stabbing a sheep in the throat?
To kill it for food?
Does it matter what we do with it afterwards? See, it's still just as cruel to the animal. We could kill it afterwards. We could throw the body away. In terms of, if you consider animal cruelty laws are for the sake of the animal, so the animal doesn't get harmed.
Yeah.
Killing the sheep, whether we eat it or not afterwards, it's just as cruel either way. Yeah, so this is humane slaughter in Australia.
This is humane slaughter.
Yeah, the method is to bolt gun the sheep or cow in the back of the skull, supposedly to stun it, and then shackle it up by its hind legs and slit its throat, and then its blood will drain out and it loses consciousness. That's how sheep are killed. Would you say this looks like animal cruelty? Like this, for example, stabbing a sheep in the throat?
Is that what he's doing?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I don't know.
Because if punching the sheep is animal cruelty, what's that?
Yeah.
That's like 10 times more violent, right?
Yeah, it's certainly more violent.
Right.
But if you punch the sheep, they're still alive after you've been hitting them and kicking them.
Okay.
What have you.
Yep.
If you stab them in the throat, they'll die.
Okay.
Immediately after.
So it's cruel if they're still alive afterwards.
I don't know.
It's
I don't
big
have
questions.
I don't have a well thought out definition
That's okay,
of what's
man.
cool and what's not. Yeah.
That's okay. Would you agree with kind of the general idea that harming an animal unnecessarily is animal cruelty?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Sounds about right.
That's just a basic premise. I guess the question really becomes, is this necessary?
Probably, yeah, that's the thing. It's about necessity, isn't it? It's
Of
not,
course.
It's absolutely not necessary.
Okay, not necessary. So, would you say...
To be fair, consumption of animal meat in general is probably not necessary as well. We can survive without it. Given that we're omnivores.
Right. Oh, you say we couldn't survive without it?
No, we can.
Okay.
Given that we're omnivores.
Right, yeah, we can eat plants or
Humans
animals.
are,
Yeah, okay.
We can get by on plant-based diets, can't we?
Okay, yeah, well, yeah. The science certainly indicates that. So would you say kind of animal exploitation and animal products, using animals for their products, killing them, artificially inseminating, would you say that falls almost entirely under the banner of animal cruelty?
What were they? What was that?
So just animal exploitation, harming animals for our consumption? It's a much bigger question, yeah.
That's hairy.
Yeah.
Animal exploitation. Like when we grow dogs that small, just for our pets, does that count as exploitation?
I would say so, actually.
We breed them explicitly just to take
Yeah.
care of us, and we desex them. We keep them in our houses to keep ourselves company. That's very selfish act, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that exploitation? Is that cruelty?
I would say it is. It's a much more tame level of exploitation, right, as opposed to the kind of stuff we're seeing on the screen here.
We're not violent towards them. We love our pets, but at the same time we are exploiting them and desexing them. And
yeah. So I would say yes on a very mild level.
Yeah.
Would you think so?
For what?
For in terms of like just the dogs, like growing?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of pets in general.
Okay, so we kind of agree on that one. That's cool. And so for the rest of this stuff, would you say the same?
All of that. I'm not into pets, but I'm a meat eater, so it's kind of like, I know it tastes so good. And
It does taste good, doesn't it? I know because I grew up eating meat.
Yeah.
I used to work in a butcher shop, for example.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I've all the cultures. I'm half Lebanese, half Australian.
Yeah.
Both very strong meat eating cultures. So I totally get where you're coming from, man. Meat tastes good, right? There's no arguing that. And I don't think anyone here has gone vegan because meat doesn't taste, it tastes disgusting. I would never.
Yeah.
But, so if that's not why these people have gone vegan.
No, it doesn't look.
I guess there's got to be something else to it, right? So taste is a consideration, of course. If something tastes good, yes, it's better than if it tastes bad.
Yeah.
But when you put it into the scheme of things and say, well, what are we sacrificing when we are choosing taste pleasure?
Okay.
And I guess the question is, if it's not necessary for survival at all, and the reason we are eating meat or animal products is for taste, the question becomes, does sensory pleasure outweigh the value of life for these animals?
That's a fair argument, I think.
What would you say from your personal point of view?
I think that is a fair argument. I used to be vegetarian myself, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't remember. I think I was just giving it a go for a little bit.
Right.
I'll do it for a week and see how we go.
Okay.
Whether I can handle it or not.
Yeah.
And then it went on to a month, and it went on to a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was kind of similar to me, except I'm still going.
I did this funny thing. I went on this like week-long meditation thing, and afterwards I'm like, I want a Hawaiian pizza. I'm gonna go get it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Really, after meditation, you're like, you know what? I think meat belongs in my mouth. Yeah, okay, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Time for a Hawaiian pizza.
Okay, yeah. So just the taste thing again.
Yeah. Could be.
Oh well, it's a Hawaiian pizza, right?
Yeah.
I understand.
But yeah, I suppose I used to feel a bit more strongly about this, and I dropped off. I don't know why.
Right.
I haven't been thinking about it much.
Well, yeah. I mean, the whole industry and consumption of these products is designed around us not thinking about it. In fact, not only is it designed around us not thinking about it, for example, keeping this kind of footage out of our sights, right? But it's actually designed the other way to think that, these animals have a great life, and on our packages there's free-range chickens and all these things. Kind of gives us this idea of like happy meadows.
I don't buy free-range eggs because I know it's bullshit.
Right, okay, so you're more switched on than that, right?
But do you guys send this footage to like the media companies, and you get any?
The media companies? Yeah. There's been a number of like exposés and stuff like that. But a lot of the time, what happens, unfortunately, is we seem to point to certain workers or certain practices, and the kind of much deeper rooted violence just gets like swept over. So let's say, I think part of the reason for that is because we don't want to give up meat. Much easier to condemn these workers and say, well, that worker's a bad apple, this person's bad, right? Instead of me saying, well, I'm bad for paying that person to do this to an animal.
Yeah, right.
You know, often the workers in those positions are low-paid immigrants. You know, they don't want to be there. That's just the job that they've taken, right? And they have high rates of traumatic stress disorder. They have high rates of alcohol, anxiety, depression, abuse, right? So it's definitely not good for the workers to be here.
Yeah, sure.
And we're the ones buying these products, putting them in that position. And then we're pointing the finger at them saying, oh, they kick a sheep or a cow or something. It's like, that's horrible, but they're slitting throats all day. What is the value of a life to these people? You have to desensitize yourself to it, right?
So what's this organization? Do you guys all have a unified stance or something?
Yeah, okay, so we're here promoting a vegan message, right?
Oh, okay.
Because what veganism is simply is already in line with the values that most of us have in common, that we don't want to harm animals unnecessarily, or we don't like animal cruelty, and you know that it's not necessary to like eat animal products, right? So that's basically what veganism is.